Hello everyone, this is Athagos. Welcome to another video on my channel. Today I will be looking at Ugly Gryphon Inn, the latest project of Button Shy Games. It's a pure solo experience and it's a game that is played pretty quickly. Instead of going over the rules now, I will explain most of the rules as we go along. Alright, so I already shuffled the deck to get started. Um, General premise of the game is that we own the only inn within 100 miles, the questionably prestigious Ugly Gryphon Inn. And we have very rowdy and rude patrons coming into our inn, and we need to attempt to make them stay at our inn and not leave. In the end, it's like that. If at least 8 patrons have left the inn at any time, we immediately lose the game. And at the end of the game, when the draw pile is empty, if we have 7 or more patrons staying at the inn, we win the game. I will play it without the expansions for now. As you can see, I have a few expansions in here. If you'd like to see a video with the expansions, let me know. Alright, so I suggest we get started. So we will first fill up the bar. So we will add four cards to the bar. So we have 3 main areas, so to speak. We have the bar. There's always 4 patrons sitting at the bar. We have the inn, which will be here on several floors. And also we have here a pile with all patrons that have already left our facility, or the inn, so to speak. So there's always an in phase and a bar phase. Let's start with the in phase first. What we do is we take one of the patrons sitting at the bar and put them at the inn. You see, if I take just one of these patrons, you can see that they have specific conditions at the top. For example, this one says if there are 4 or more beer at the inn. And then the text down here happens. Usually the patrons leave or do some other weird thing. So for example, another example would be the teetotal none, if there is beer directly above or below this room. So if any of these happen, usually the patrons leave or have some other undesirable effect. Let me focus the camera back. So we want to, of course, place them in a way that they won't leave the inn too quickly. I think the best thing to do at the moment is to put the none on the right, because we have no beer below her, because she's going to be on the ground floor, and above her we can control that. So beer directly above or below the room means the following. You see the little icon over here, that's food, but that can also be beer instead. So I suggest we put her on the ground floor of our inn. And then we'll resolve all the texts in the inn. So if there's beer directly above or below this room, that's not the case, so everything is fine. Now we go to the bar phase. We draw up, the enough cards that the bar is back to 4 people. And we got the Rusty Ranger now, which says if there are 3 or more beer at the bar. And the bar is the one down here. So we can also control that, kind of, because we always draw a different card and we never really know what we will draw. Okay, so now in the bar phase, we count these icons here on the right. So this is fighting, this is noise, and also there is smell. And if there are 3 of one symbol or more, then we have a little problem. And we already do, as we can see. So there are 3 fighting symbols here. That means all patrons in the inn that have that fighting symbol here at the top, and the none does have that, the effect triggers too. So let me pull that up so I can show it to you. There we go, focus. You see the fighting symbol here on the right. And it says the nun leaves. She silently judges every other patron on her way out. So she has no additional effect, luckily, but she will leave the inn. So we already have the first patron that left. That was the bar phase, and now we go back to the next round to the inn phase again. So we take one of the patrons. So we have a little issue now because we need to take one of these fighting ones, but we also have two noise ones already. So let's hope we will not draw a noise one next time. So if there is no food at the inn, well, at the moment there is no food at the inn. If there are 4 or more beer at the inn, we can probably control that. So let's put the drunken dwarf on the ground floor and resolve him. So let me pull him up. He says if there are 4 or more beer at the inn, which is not the case. So that's fine. And then we will draw another card, the time mage. If there is an equal amount of food and beer at the inn. Okay. So I suggest we take the goblin triplet now to get these two noise out of the way. And the effect of the goblin is if there are 3 goblins in the inn. There are 3 goblins in the entire deck, that's why triplet. So yeah, the chances are very high that we will get the other one soon. So he's on the next floor. All right, and now we resolve all these here. If there are 3 goblins at the inn, that's not the case. If there are 4 or more beer at the inn, that's also not the case. So everything is fine. We will draw another card, which is another smell card. Charitable Giant, if the inn has 3 or more adjacent beer or 3 or more adjacent food, that's something we can control very nicely. So far we only have 1 beer and 1 food, and now we have 1 beer again if we took him, and we can, like 3 adjacent, we can control that pretty nicely. So I suggest we take him to also reduce the number of smell icons we have here, because we have 2. So let's put him there and resolve all the effects. If the inn has 3 or more adjacent beer or food, which we don't have, 3 goblins, we don't have either, 4 or more beer at the inn, we don't have either, but we have 2 now, so we kind of need to be careful there. Alright, the next bar phase. We have another fighting. So we have 3 fighting now. I mean, that's something we couldn't really do anything against that. So we do have the goblin triplet that has the fighting symbol there. And it says the goblin reminds his brothers of a childhood brawl. The old brawl starts again, and all goblins in the inn leave. We only have 1 goblin so far, so that one also leaves. And the giant will move 1 floor down. Alright, that was the bar phase. Now let's go to the next inn phase. We need to take out one of these fighting ones for sure. So if there are 3 or more beer in the bar, would be the Rusty Ranger. That's not great because we have 2 beer already. If we draw another one, we have an issue again. If there are 4 or more food at the inn, we can control that. We have 0 food at the moment, so that's fine. And if there's no food at the inn, well, we have none. So, but we could play the Warbear maybe next round, because then we would have food with the doppelganger. So let's take the doppelganger and put him here. So let's resolve all these. If there are 4 or more food at the inn, we don't have that. If the inn has 3 or more adjacent beer or food, we don't, but we have 2 adjacent beer now. If there are 4 or more beer at the inn, that's not the case either. So everything is fine here. Nobody will leave for now. Let's draw another card for the bar phase, and that's a sound symbol. Alright, so I would suggest we take one of these fighting symbols away again. So we have the Rusty Ranger. If there are 3 or more beer at the bar, that's not possible because we have 3 beer here. We have 4 beer even. And the Warbear, if there is no food at the inn. And that one would work because we actually have 1 food. So that's fine actually. So let's take him. So now I can't fit him 1 floor above. Well, we can maybe pull them down a little bit. That's the 4th floor then. And now we resolve everybody. If there's no food at the inn, we do have food at the inn. 4 or more food, we don't. 3 or more adjacent beer or food, we don't have that either. 4 or more beer at the inn. We don't either, but we have 3 beer now. So we need to be careful, otherwise the dwarf will leave. And also remove a top card from the deck, which is not good. Not good at all. Okay. Let me look if I can focus a little bit better. I don't think so. No, I think that's pretty much all the focus I can get here. Maybe like that. Okay. So, bar face, we draw the next card. Oh no, that's one of the goblin triplets. They always have two icons here. So we have three smell again. So let's see. But we don't have any patron in our inn that is irked by smell. So it's fine. We're actually in the clear. And I suggest immediately we take the goblin triplet because first of all, 2 icons here, and also the this only triggers if we have 3 goblins in the inn, which is not possible anymore because one already left the tavern or the inn. So let's take the goblin triplet. One thing is here, I don't have enough space in the camera in the image now to put it above, so let's just put it here and imagine that's floor 5. All right. Okay, now we'll resolve everything again. 3 goblins at the inn, we don't have that. No food, we do have food. 4 or more food, which we don't. 3 or more adjacent beer or food, we don't have that either. And 4 or more beer, we don't have that either. So everything is good for now. Next bar phase, we will draw another card. The Sleepy Summoner. If there's noise directly above or below this room. We do have noise there. So that's something we cannot put there. But we do have 2 smells. If there is an equal amount of food and beer at the inn, then the mage would just shuffle the patrons at the bar back into the deck. This, of course, disrupts us a little bit, but it's not too bad. But that would be another beer, and the dwarf will leave when there's 4 or more beer at the bar. But I think we can't do anything against that because we will have to draw a beer at some point. You see how many beers we have here. So let's do that anyway and just, well, yeah, then the dwarf will leave. But that's something we should be able to work with, I suppose. Okay, if there's an equal amount of food and beer at the inn, that's not the case. We have 2 food and 4 beer, so all right. 3 goblins, that's not the case either. No food, we do have food. 4 or more food, which is not the case either. 3 adjacent food or beer, we don't have that either. If there are 4 or more beer at the inn, we do have that. 1, 2, 3, and 4 beer. So we will have to resolve that card. It says if there are 4 more beer at the inn, the dwarf leaves drunkenly. He goes out the window instead of the door and lands on a patron waiting outside. Remove the top card of the deck from the game. That's not perfect because there's 1 less card we need to win, but that's how it is. We remove that top card. I will not look at that, but it is not a patron that has left because the patron never entered the inn. So that is just out of the game. So let's see. We still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. 2, 5, and we need at least 2 more patrons at the inn. I think we can handle that. All right, let's draw back our inn here. All right. Okay, next bar phase. Let's draw another card. We do have 2 fighting now, so that's something we should pay attention to. So the Bloody Barbarian has an effect if there's no beer at the bar, and we usually always have beer at the bar. So I think that's fine. So let's take the Barbarian. Why not? So let's just put him there. Okay, then we'll resolve everything here. If there is no beer at the bar, that's not the case. Equal amount of food and beer. Oh, I didn't pay attention to that. There actually is 3 beer and 3 food. So we have to take the patrons at the bar and shuffle them back into the deck. Okay, let me just do a quick overhand shuffle. There we go. If there are 3 goblins at the inn, not the case. No food at the inn. We do have food. 4 or more food at the inn, that's not the case either. But we have 3, so 1 more food and here that would then the effect would be triggered, but the doppelganger doesn't leave. It just switches around a few patrons. So that's not too bad. If the inn has 3 or more adjacent beer or food, we don't have that either. So everything is good. Next bar phase, now we have to draw back up to 4 characters. The Sleepy Summoner, the Clumsy Wizard, the Bunny Prince. I love that image, by the way. And the Stressed Setter. Okay. So let's see. We have 2 smell and 2 noise. So we should definitely get rid of something there. If the setter has, if there's no beer at the inn, there's always beer at the inn. So that one is already good to take. If there's more beer than food at the inn, that's a little bit complicated because that would be the case soon, not yet. So the bunny prince would be possible too. If the wizard is at the top of the inn, well, if we add him, he will always be at the top of the inn, but only for 1 round. And he will then shuffle the patrons below him. So could be something we could be working with if necessary. If there's noise directly above or below this room. There is no noise above or below this room, but I suggest we take one of these first. And let's take this one if there is no beer at the inn. That's something we can definitely take. But then again, next round we would probably take the bunny prince, and then there is noise below the summoner. So it might be an idea to actually take the summoner now. Yeah, let's take the summoner first. Let's put it there. Alright, now we resolve everything again. Can you see that? I think so, yeah. If there is noise directly above or below this room, not the case. If there is no beer at the bar, there is beer at the bar. Equal amount of food and beer at the inn, that is not the case. We have 1 food more. 3 goblins, not the case. No food, we do have food. 4 or more food at the inn. Oh, I didn't pay attention to that. Okay, so we have 4 or more food at the inn. So we will have to resolve this card. It says the doppelganger shifts into someone else. Draw a card and place it in the doppelganger's room and return the doppelganger to the bottom of the deck. Bottom of the deck means we will not be able to put the doppelganger in here again. So that's something we need to know. So bottom of the deck, and we will put someone else in that room and have to resolve that immediately too. If there is the fasting monk, if there is food directly above or below the room. Not the case, so we're pretty lucky. If the inn has 3 or more adjacent beer or food, that's not the case. Now we have 3 adjacent beer because we switched that. So that will be resolved too. So you see, you can plan a lot here, but there are such crazy card effects that always switch around everything, and then you stand there and think, well, I puzzled everything well together, and now everything is messed up again. So that's the most the funniest and most interesting thing about this game. All right, so we will have to resolve the giant too. That's pretty bad. I like the giant. So the giant leaves but pays for another patron's stay. Move a patron from the bar to the top of the inn. Continue resolving Urks, starting with that relocated patron. Okay. So from the bar to the top of the inn. Okay. So the giant leaves. And we have someone from the bar going to the top of the inn. Let me relocate all of these like this. Well, then we will take who we wanted to take. That's the satyr. Right. Okay. And now we need to resolve him again. So now we need to resolve everyone again. If there is no beer at the inn, there is beer at the inn. Noise directly above or below, that's not the case. There is smell, there is fighting. If there's no beer at the bar, there is beer at the bar. Equal amount of food and beer at the inn, that's not the case either. We have 4 food, so next time we should add a food and not a beer. 3 goblins, not the case. We do have food at the inn, and food directly above or below this room, not the case either. So we are finally now in the clear, and we have our 7 patrons in the bar. If we can keep that, for every patron we lose, we gain another one, then we can actually win the game. Alright, bar face, draw the bar back up here. Alright, we have new cards. Sensitive Hunter. If there is more food than beer at the inn. That's the case currently. So we need to be careful there. If there's more beer than food at the inn, that's not the case, so we could take the bunny prince. Oh, wait, I forgot. Bar face, we first need to resolve the icons. And I see we have 3 noise icons, so we actually do lose a few patrons probably. So first noise icon, the summoner sleepwalks out of the inn. So that one leaves. Casting a spell as she leaves, draw a card and add it to the bottom of the inn. So that's very interesting. So she leaves us, but we get another one to the bottom of the inn. So let me move all of these up so we have a place at the bottom of the inn. The Lazy Sorcerer. If the sorcerer is on the 5th floor or higher, we are very lucky that she is on the ground floor or on the 1st floor. Okay, so noise. Resolve noise. Who else? Goblin. The goblin leaves again and takes all other goblins with him, but there are no other goblins, so that's fine. The bear leaves. He tries to eat the patron directly below. So that one leaves also. You see, within one round, we just lost 4 patrons. That's not good. We only have 4 patrons left, so I think we already lost the game. That's a shame, because I've played the game several times since I've gotten it. I think in the past 2 days. Arrived 2 days ago or something like that. And I won every game. But of course, the one I'm recording for you, I'm losing. But, well, that's the way it is, I suppose. Okay, and now we add a patron from the bar to the inn. Let's take one of the noise ones, and let's take the one with more beer than food. Yeah, if we take that one, everything is fine. So let's just take him, put him there. Now we resolve everything here again. If there's more beer than food at the inn, that's not the case. If there's no beer at the inn, that's not the case either. No beer at the bar, that's fine too. Equal amount of food and beer at the inn, that is not the case either. And the sorcerer on the 5th floor or higher, that's not the case either. So that's fine. Next bar phase, and now the game ends. As soon as the deck is empty and we have resolved these quirks one more time, then the game ends. And as we can see, we have 2 noise, 2 fighting, not 3 of any kind, so the game is over, nothing to resolve anymore, and we have 5 patrons at the inn, so we don't win. We only win with 7, but we lost already since we have 8 or more patrons that left the bar. Left the inn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You see? So we lost anyway. Yeah, that's really a shame. That's my first loss. If you would like to see another round of this game, maybe this time we can win. Maybe take 1 or 2 of the expansions, because they are pretty fun. One expansion adds 3 more patrons. They make the game much more difficult, and we need to win with 8 patrons at least, and not 7. And also there is the Local Dragons expansion that makes the game even harder. So they add another lose condition to the game. So let me know if you would like to see another video. Let me know in the comments. Also, you can contact me on Twitter in case you're interested. You will find everything you need in the description. And with that, thank you for sticking through the entire video if you're still here. And I will see you next video. All right? Thank you very much and take care. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.